Reporting.
Floodwaters have devastated Yellowstone National Park, now menacing communities downstream where residents are busy cleaning up, also keeping an eye on rising river levels. Due to flooding in Montana's largest city, Billings, they've had to close down the water treatment plant, a city of 110,000 people. More on these stories, townhall.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Mainly sunny skies and calm this afternoon with highs around 94. Winds out of the west 8 to 15 miles per hour. Partly cloudy tonight, lows dip down to about 69. High of 87 tomorrow. Upper 70s Saturday, warmer on Sunday with highs in the mid-80s. Hear weather twice an hour or online anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Currently, it's 84.
Getting your pet's needed medications is easy with Covenant Animal Clinic in Clinton.
Yes, very convenient, especially because I live in Bloomington. It always gets delivered right to your door.
I've used the online pharmacy. It's so easy.
Click the Covenant Animal Clinic icon at DeWittDailyNews.com to learn more.
Eagle Ridge Supportive Living Indicator is affordable to everyone. Marketing Director Carla Thomas here, inviting you to schedule your tour by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com and start enjoying supportive living.
Life is uncertain. Stop in and see me, State Farm Agent Jason France, on the west side of the Clinton Square, or click our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com and see how our full lineup of State Farm insurance and financial services can help protect your family.
Local farm broadcaster Jared White covers the local agriculture news you need to know. Hear his reports by downloading the free WHOW mobile app.
If you're looking for local hunting and fishing information, then join us for Central Illinois Outdoors with me, Jared White, Sundays at 8 a.m. here on WHOW. Every weekend, we'll offer detailed local fishing reports from professional guides. We'll swap stories with local celebrity sportsmen, and I'll invite you to share your stories as well. Central Illinois Outdoors with Jared White, every Sunday morning at 8 on all WHOW platforms and on demand at CentralIllinoisOutdoors.com. Brought to you by Bob Ridings in Pana and the Clinton, Illinois Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Bureau.
SIU Center for Family Medicine inside the Logan County Health Department at 109 3rd Street in Lincoln provides complete family health care services to insured, underinsured, or uninsured. SIU Medicine offers a medicated assistance recovery clinic. The MAR Clinic assists those addicted to opioids. This clinic supports and treats people with the help they need. Complete dental services are available. Veteran assistance and financial aid are both available. Call SIU Center for Family Medicine in Lincoln for your appointment, 217-735-2317, or click their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agents in Clinton. My guest on the phone this morning, Caitlin Mellendorf, nutrition educator for the University of Illinois Extension in DeWitt, Macon, and Piatt counties. Good morning, Caitlin. How are you today?
Good morning. I know we were talking off air about vacations, and so now I'm like, oh, it's summertime. It's officially here.
It's summertime. Yeah, I know, right? I feel like the last time we caught up, it was still like, 50 degrees outside and dreary, and then like Mother Nature just turned the thermostat up like crazy. So yeah, summer is here. I've been asking all my guests how their summer has started. So how has your summer started, Caitlin?
My summer has started with planting lots of things out on our new property behind the house. So that was great until the heat wave. And so we've been out every morning and every night just trying to keep them alive with water.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a struggle. Yep. What do you like to plant? Like, are you a flower girl? Are you a, vegetable garden type of person? Like, what do you like?
Well, for this back property, I want everything that's perennial. So things that are going to come back from year to year that all I have to do is really just cut down, in the spring or the fall, and they will just, do their thing in the next season. I'll do some some flowering things in pots. Not this year just because of budgeting, and that's the plants that we bought were cutting into my flower budget for the year. But I'll do some plants. I've got a fun turtle planter that my husband and I bought several years ago that currently has a couple of flowers in it, which is just, it's kind of silly, but it's kind of fun for us. We like
Nice.
it.
Cool. Yeah, we've got dogs, and so my wife is getting into like planting like pots of flowers and such. She bought a blueberry pot this spring a little bit. And the problem with having dogs is they want, I don't know why, but they want in that pot of dirt. So like we can't get anything to grow. It's kind of wild. But let's transition, Caitlin, a little bit. We've got really good talking points, and I want to get to those this morning. Let's dive into talking a little bit about food preservation and dealing with this heat, and particularly if we're, we heard from our state rep yesterday on this show that we could be dealing with some energy issues this summer. Let's start with, ways to preserve our food through what could be a kind of trying summer when it comes to, keeping our houses cool and food preserved and good and all of those things. What do you have for us in that arena today?
So what really prompted me to think about this topic when you were asking, hey, you're coming on, what you want to talk about this month, was I had a client call our office and ask about food preservation. So she was asking about pressure canning, which is a question that we get quite a bit, along with other types of preservation. But the more that she was talking to me, she had told me she had been hearing rumblings similar to, I'm sure your state representative shared, about risk of power outages and the different power companies, electric companies, maybe shifting and doing some like planned power outages. And she had a freezer full of venison that she wanted to turn into a canned shelf-stable product because she was worried that if the power went out, she would lose all that frozen meat. And so that was our conversation was, okay, how do I, what's the time and the pressure and all these, good, positive best practices for pressure canning. And so when you had said, okay, so what you want to talk about? I'm like, oh, that's a good thing to kind of bring back up is if power outages happen, food safety is going to be a potential risk and possibly losing some of the food that you have. So when we get to a little bit more about times and temperatures for power outages, I'll share that. But in terms of preservation, I do want to invite folks to some of the classes that I have back in person now coming in July. So it'll be kind of in the middle of the preserving season, but we're going to do Thursday evening and Saturday morning classes. My Thursday classes are going to be about canning, so both water bath and pressure canning. And my Saturday classes are going to be about freezing, dehydration, and fermenting. And they're all just going to be lecture style. You can get that information. So this is definitely more of an introductory kind of class. So if you've been thinking, I would like to do some of this, this is going to be a great class to attend. I'm doing these in all 3 counties. So DeWitt, Macon, and Piatt counties over the course of a couple weeks in July. So I'll be busy with those. So folks can get registered at go.illinois.edu/preserve101 and sign up for those at your convenience. I am doing a kind of a price break. So if you sign up for 2 classes, you get a little price break, which is always nice. But yeah, preserving is going to be really helpful if we do have some of those power outages. So having, if you have a dehydrator, that's going to be a great one to get that shelf-stable product. Canning is going to be a great one for, again, getting that shelf-stable product in the event of a power outage. So I do recommend if you want to get started even before my July classes, or you just want to learn on your own, the resource that I recommend is through the University of Georgia, which is the National Center for Home Food Preservation. And they have all the tested recipes, all the information to get you started, and all the different types of preserving, again, to get you started.
Very good. So keep that in mind. And when we talk about, food preservation, Caitlin, I think of, like you talked about, canning, pressure cooking, those types of things. Are there more aspects to food preservation that we could get into especially as we talk about, keeping your refrigerator closed as long as you can, but maybe there's something you could can in, say, a deep freezer or something of that nature and pull it out to thaw, have it ready for dinner, in the evening, or when that power consumption goes down and you're able to fire up devices and such again, like, or your electronics again, like your stove and oven and all those things, or, fire up the grill. That's been our go-to this week. We've grilled out every night this week, which was hard to believe. I don't think I've ever done that. But anyways, is there more components to food preservation than just like canning and pressure cooking and those sorts of things?
Yeah, so the one that I like, especially if we're looking at something that doesn't require any type of cold storage, dehydration is a great one. Just because you can have dried fruits, you can make jerky sticks out of meat, you can dehydrate fruit. And some of those, I know I've done hot peppers. So if you have a bunch of hot peppers, that's not going to make much of a meal because you're just going to be all spiced. But I've dried hot peppers and I've made chili flakes out of those for like pizza. Yeah, so you can definitely use, in the event of a power outage, if you want to kind of look at, okay, I don't have access to my fridge or my freezer because they aren't working. They are not going to keep my foods cold. What can I take out of my freezer or my fridge and kind of use up? So that is a great thing to kind of think about in this week of really hot weather of, okay, so if the power goes out and it's maybe projected to be a little bit long term, maybe more than half a day, maybe up to a day, you're going to want to use those foods out of the fridge first, because your frozen foods will last a little bit longer. So focus on using those foods out of the refrigerator. So maybe you're going to be eating a lot of cereal and milk for a while. Maybe you're going to make some fruit and yogurt parfaits. Maybe if you have something like a grill, maybe you're going to reheat any leftovers on that grill, which might sound a little complicated. Like if I got leftover spaghetti in the fridge that I want to reheat on my grill, I can do it. It's just going to be a little kind of strange if you're used to maybe just reheating in a microwave or on the stovetop, but it can be done. So think about using those refrigerated foods first, and then work on your frozen foods. And so again, if you've got something that's maybe gas powered, or you maybe have a generator, you're going to be able to maybe heat some of those foods. Your frozen foods are going to be a little bit tricky, because even those foods that you think, oh, I can just thaw out some corn and I can make a cold corn salad. We do have some food safety risk even with some of our frozen foods. We do actually want those fully cooked and reheated through before we eat them. There's been a lot more research coming around things like listeria still left in frozen corn and other frozen veggies. So we're seeing that shift too. Actually, we do want to maybe fully cook those, not just thaw them out and eat them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a shift. But your freezers are going to be a little bit more challenging to use if you don't have power. But give it your best shot. If you still have access to your maybe a phone or a computer that still has power during the power outage, if you you may not have Wi-Fi left if your power's out, but you may still have data from your service provider, possibly. Check around on the internet and see if you can find some recipe ideas for those kinds of ingredients that you have in your freezer that maybe don't require as much heating. It might be a little tricky, but I'm imagining there's one or two that might be possible.
How about that? So very good. Well, Caitlin, again, our guest on the phone, Caitlin Mellendorf, nutrition educator, University of Illinois Extension from the DeWitt, Macon, and Piatt County offices. Good advice, Caitlin. Anything else on, food preservation in the event of brownouts or something of that nature, ways to prepare food, anything we missed in that conversation you want to put out there for us?
Yeah, so I want to put out a couple of times for folks to remember. So during a power outage, your refrigerator is typically going to still remain food safe up to 4 hours. So if your power outage is fairly short, up to 4 hours, once that power kicks back on, your fridge will again start cooling and your food should be food safe. If it's been more than 4 hours, it's time to throw out some of those perishable items. So meat, milk, any leftover foods. Your mustard is probably still going to be good for a little while. If you've got, soda bottles in there, those are going to be fine. For your freezer, the advice is a half full freezer is safe for up to 24 hours. If you have a full freezer, just jam packed, it's up to 48 hours. But these are all times based on keeping the door closed as much as possible, which is really hard to do.
Yeah. With that said, Caitlin, are there any recommendations you have? Maybe this is a really stupid question. I don't know. Any recommendations on foods you can take from your refrigerator and put them in your freezer where it's not going to, freezing it is not going to impact it, but you can keep it longer? Does that make sense? And is that a dumb question?
No, totally. And that is one way to kind of help that. You could even go and buy yourself a bag of ice to throw in your fridge to kind of help lengthen that. Or if you have ice already in your house, in your freezer, take some of that and put it in your fridge to kind of help lengthen that time. But yeah, so some of the foods that would be okay being moved from your fridge to your freezer, you could do milk, you could do meats, of course, if you have raw meats in there. Some of your vegetables will probably not do super well. Your fresh fruits will probably not do very well either. So obviously, if you have lettuce salads or spinach and you put that in your freezer, it's going to be a pretty awful product when you take it back out to eat it. But yeah, a lot of your animal foods, so your milks, your meats are going to do just fine moving to the freezer. Your fresh produce, some of that's going to be hit or miss with that.
Very good. Well, Caitlin, I'll tell you what, I look at the clock. We've got more great topics to dive into, but did I miss anything in that whole conversation you want to put out there for us?
And I do want to invite folks to check out resources online. So if they want to go to our main extension page, it's extension.illinois.edu/food. Has all sorts of different things, but also has information about food safety. So we do have a whole handout on food safety during power outages that you can download for free, print it off, post it to your fridge, keep that available with you. So again, that's extension.illinois.edu/food.
That is Caitlin Mellendorf, nutrition educator, University of Illinois Extension, our guest on the phone. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. More to come on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
Warner Hospital and Health Services in Clinton uses the latest technology for positive patient outcomes with a new state-of-the-art CT machine next to our ER. CEO Paul Scarron asking you to find out more by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
When it comes to fire and water restoration, ServPro of Piatt DeWitt counties is the leader in cleaning, restoration, and construction. Find out all the services they provide by clicking their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
The Miller Media Group in Taylorville and Clinton are acquiring 2 customer service specialists to service existing on-air accounts, prospect and acquire new accounts to benefit local businesses with our on-air, online, and digital products. It's 2022, and the Miller Media Group has expanded into working for local businesses through our new digital division. Prospective candidates should have a degree in advertising, marketing, or public relations. A $2,000 sign-on bonus is offered for each of the 2 positions. Send your resume and references to WHOW@randyradio.com. That's WHOW@randyradio.com. The Miller Media Group's an equal opportunity employer.
Don't miss the 68th Piatt County Fair this weekend in Cerro Gordo. The Piatt County Fair promises fun for the whole family. Thursday night features karaoke in the beer barn. Friday night is one of the first ITPA tractor pulls of the season. Saturday features kiddie pulls and family activities throughout the day. And local favorite Eric Burgett in the beer barn that night. Sunday features the antique tractor pull. Plus, you don't want to miss the livestock shows, your favorite fair foods, and so much more. Admission to this weekend's Piatt County Fair in Cerro Gordo is free. Find the Piatt County Fair on Facebook to see the full schedule.
Hey, this is Todd Gleason from Illinois Extension here with a time change for our daily market report on WHOW. You can now catch our daily review of the commodity markets at 5:06 on all of WHOW's many platforms. You'll still hear all of our commodity analysts and weather professionals each afternoon, but at a brand new time. And you'll still hear the weekly wrap-up of the commodity markets right here on WHOW when Commodity Week airs Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. Remember the time change for the daily closing market report on WHOW at our new time, 5:06 p.m. weekdays.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest on the phone, Caitlin Mellendorf, nutrition educator, University of Illinois Extension. And Caitlin, let's talk about some recipes that we can tap into during really hot weather. I prefer to jump on the grill and make burgers and brats and dogs and brisket and steak and all sorts of things. But what do you have for us? What are some good ways we can maybe utilize some recipes that will cool us off perhaps in this hot weather? How about that?
And it's all kind of just been like a perfect storm of all the different topics. So we're in summer, which means farmers markets and local foods and people growing their own gardens. And I've been trying to pare down some of my blog posts and kind of condense them. So I have a new blog post out about summer salads. So I think that's what I'm going to focus on right now. And they're all using things that are growing right now here in Illinois. So whether that's you in your backyard garden, if that's you going to a farmer's market, or just using where your grocery store is having some really good quality summer produce available. And so one that I want to start with is a jicama fruit salad. And so jicama is a round potato-shaped vegetable that has its roots in Latin cooking, so Mexico, the South America, and it's got the texture of like a crunchy apple, and it's got this kind of sweetness. So it's a really interesting food that you look at and you go, this can't taste like anything but a potato, but no, it's very sweet and crunchy and it has that texture of an apple. And so we're mixing that with a fruit salad. So fruit salads are a great one to cool down because you can just do whatever fruits you have in your fridge, in your freezer, in your canned fruits, mix those all together. Those are going to be a great one to bring in some nutrients, but also just kind of help you cool down all that wateriness that you get from things like watermelon and berries right now. Peaches are going to come into season soon here in Illinois. That's going to be great for one, keeping you hydrated in this heat. And then also just kind of being a nice cooling kind of food.
Yeah.
Potato salads, or if you are someone that wants to try something a little different with vegetables, we have a variation that uses cauliflower. Cauliflower is very trendy right now in food spaces, but classic potato salad is just a nice way to use up your ingredients that you have in your fridge. If you have potatoes that are available, and you can do all sorts of different mixes. So the one that I have up on the blog is with chives, which were a local food item, and then bacon. So get that kind of bacony chivey combo is such a classic.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're feeling a little bit more like a grain-based salad, so things like rice salads or quinoa or bulgur wheat. So we have a quinoa salad and a tabbouleh, which is based on bulgur wheat. It's a very herby, bright salad. So it's got, the tabbouleh has the lemon and it's got cucumbers and tomatoes. And so especially if you have way too many cucumbers, this is a great one to use right now. So those grain salads are going to be a little bit more bulky. So they're going to add some more fiber, some more protein to keep you full a little bit longer. But because they're a cold salad, it's just that nice break from turning on your oven. And these would pair really nicely if you do have a grill, grill some meat, even, trying out grilling fruits to kind of get that sweetness in there. It's going to be a very nice way to stay cool this summer with some of these recipes. So grain salads, potato salads, and fruit salads are all going to make excellent sides this week. And it sounds like next week we're going to keep with this heat. So definitely you have time to make lots of these.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you've got me like energized to go home and make a chicken salad now. Like I think that's what I'm gonna do this weekend. So maybe that'll be a Father's Day treat to myself, I guess. But Caitlin, with that said, anything else, by the way, on like cold recipes for warm days? The chicken salad was a great suggestion. That one had totally flown over the cuckoo's nest for me. So, but anything else you wanted to add in that conversation?
Yeah, and I think you're spot on that, we are still probably used to, we transitioned to summer pretty quick. So you might still be in the mode of turning on your oven and having things on your stovetop. So go check out our blogs, go check out different recipe websites online or blogs that you follow or social media pages for some of that inspiration of, okay, it's hot. What do I feel like? What sounds good? So for you, it was chicken salad. For me, all the fruits right now are just really hydrating and are sounding delicious. So strawberries have been my thing lately. It's just so good.
Absolutely.
So So feel into whatever is sounding good right now as the weather warms up, because and especially anything that's going to help you stay cool is going to be important, and anything that helps you hydrate.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Really important
For sure.
right now.
Well, Caitlin, I know we had a couple other things to dive into today. I apologize. We have run out of time. When you and I get talking food, we could go on for hours. So with that said, let's wrap it up with how do folks learn more about all things U of I Extension, nutrition tips, recipes, those sorts of things. What do you have for us?
Yeah, so our 3 counties are back in full swing in terms, especially with summer programming, and especially those programs for gardeners, since it's that season, and then for youth. So you don't have to be a 4-H member to attend these programs. You can sign up kids of any 4-H age, even if they're not a 4-H member. So check out all those events, plus the preserving classes that I mentioned at go.illinois.edu/DMP for DeWitt, Macon, and Payette.
That is Caitlin Mellendorf, nutrition educator, University of Illinois Extension. Our guest on the phone. Network News is next.